Higher. Probability. The chances of a happening. Sometimes you want to communicate what you think about the probability of a situation. The probability or the chances of that happening. Let's dive into it, shall we? Look at this sentence. I'm not quite sure, but I think she's at home. I'm not quite sure, but I think she's at home. Is she at home? Maybe. I'm not absolutely sure about it. So the probability of her being at home is rather low. It's a low probability situation. Now look at this one. I'm certain, I'm sure, that they are playing a video game right now. Are they playing a video game? I think so. I'm quite positive about that. So the probability of the situation is high. It's a high probability situation. In English, there are a few words to express probability of a situation or a happening, and in this video we are going to examine two of them. These words are may and must. Look at the following sentences. Here are some low probability situations. I'm not quite sure, but I think they are on their way home from school. I'm not quite sure, but I think they are on their way home from school. They may be on their way home from school. I'm not quite sure, but I think my dad is having a rest at the moment. My dad may be having a rest at the moment. I'm not quite sure, but I think they often drink beer on Friday evenings. They may drink beer on Friday evenings. I'm not quite sure, but I think our relatives or family members will arrive a bit later than expected. Our relatives may arrive a bit later than expected. Now let's see some high probability situations. I'm sure the kids are still in bed. I'm sure the kids are still in bed. The kids must be in bed. I'm certain the neighbors' boys are riding their bikes in the street right now. The neighbors' boys must be riding their bikes in the street right now. The neighbors' boys must be riding their bikes in the street right now. I'm sure that my sister stops at that cafe on her way to work. My sister must stop at that cafe on her way to work. My sister must stop at that cafe on her way to work. I'm certain my brother will love this present. My brother must love this present. Good. Now here's the tricky part. Both may and must are non-past modals. It means they don't have past forms. Basically, they refer either to the present or the future. So how can you express a certainty, or uncertainty for that matter, about a past event? Here's how. I'm not quite sure, but I think they were at the cinema last weekend. They may have been at the cinema last weekend. I'm not quite sure, but I think my sister has already landed. My sister may have already landed. My sister may have already landed. I'm not quite sure, but I think Tom bought this LED TV a week or so ago. Tom may have bought this LED TV a week or so ago. I'm not quite sure, but I think the kids were telephoning while you were out shopping. The kids may have been telephoning while you were out shopping. The kids may have been telephoning while you were out shopping. I'm not quite sure, but I think Mrs. White has been teaching for like 45 years now. Mrs. White may have been teaching for like 45 years now. I'm sure I've seen him before. I must have seen him before. I'm sure the neighbor mowed the lawn a few days ago. The neighbor must have mowed the lawn a few days ago. I'm sure that some of the employees were posting photos on Facebook while the boss was giving his presentation. I'm sure some of the employees were posting photos on Facebook while the boss was giving his presentation. Some of the employees must have been posting photos on Facebook while the boss was giving his presentation. I'm certain that Mr. Green has been repairing cars since he was 14. Mr. Green must have been repairing cars since he was 14. That's all there's to it. I think you get it. See you next time.